Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today, my friends at Holmes Honda here in Shreveport, Louisiana have loaned me the 2021 model of the Honda Pilot. And something that's going to be unique to the 2021 model year is the fact that there is a special edition. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. You'll find some of the features on the exterior, such as the black rims and black roof rails. Basically, some of the same features you'll find on the black edition of the Pilot are available on this model as well. As far as changes for the 2021 model year, one thing you'll definitely find that I believe is a tremendous benefit is if you go with the EX trim level, it now comes standard with dual zone climate control. Also standard now across all trim levels is the 9-speed automatic transmission. Of course, the largest SUV in Honda's lineup is this Pilot. It is a 3-row SUV with a total capacity for 8 people in the vehicle. It's roomy and spacious. Even the third row actually has a reasonable amount of room for an SUV of this size. You will also find that the Pilot gets better gas mileage than most of its competitors. The Special Edition Pilot is a new edition trim level in the lineup that brings together popular amenities such as 20-inch wheels with a black finish, black roof rails, front and rear skid garnishes, a foot-activated power tailgate, and wireless phone charging. And here under the hood of the Pilot Special Edition is the 3.5-liter 6-cylinder engine. And it's not exactly hurting for horsepower with an amount of 280. Like I said earlier, no matter which trim level you choose to purchase, whether it's this Special Edition or any other, it will come standard with the 9-speed automatic transmission. The impressive fuel economy that I mentioned earlier is 20 miles per gallon in the city and 27 out on the highway. And of course, as is common with Honda vehicles, you will find a slew of safety features that will help keep you and your passengers safe when you're driving out on the road. And I'll leave a link to the dealer's website so you can see all the features that I'm not necessarily going to cover to not keep you here all day long on their website of what exactly this vehicle has. It's definitely not lacking for features. Now, one thing you're going to notice when you walk up to the power tailgate here on this Pilot, here are instructions right here. That sticker tells you how to use another one of the features that's going to come standard on the Special Edition, which is the hands-free power tailgate or liftgate. And you're just going to use the motion sensor down there on the bottom side of the bumper, and like you saw right there, and I've talked about this before in previous videos, be patient, because when you touch that motion sensor with your foot and it activates the rear liftgate, sometimes you might think, oh, it didn't work, I need to do that again. It's not super fast to do that. That gives you time to get out of the way, and of course you can use that to close the rear liftgate as well. And in the interest of fair reporting, obviously there are variations to cargo space, because obviously with the third row seats in their upright position, well, you're going to have the least amount. But you can lower those seats and the middle row seats to maximize your cargo space, as you can see on the screen. And as far as towing capacity goes, that's going to vary as well. On the front wheel drive models, it's going to be 3,500 pounds, but you can expect to be able to tow up to 5,000 pounds if you have the all-wheel drive version. Now, one other thing I'd like to mention here, of course, getting the rear seats down, that's very easy to do. You're just going to pull on these straps and the seats are going to go down. Very easy to do. But here under the floor, there's additional storage space. And you have a couple of mats here that you can move out of the way and lift up on the floor. And you can lift it up just like I've done right there, or you can actually take it out all the way. And underneath, it's reversible. That plastic floor finish right there, you can turn it upside down. And if you have something such as something that's going to maybe get the carpet dirty, sand, dirt, whatever it may be, well, you can flip it over to this plastic side and you'll find out that it makes things so much easier. Quite a bit of versatility here, and you'll even find a little sticker down here on the right-hand side that tells you how to do all that kind of stuff, but it's really so self-explanatory and easy to figure out that you can easily do it without looking at the sticker. Okay guys, as we move further forward in the interior, like I said, there are quite a few creative storage spaces available. Not only here on the doors with the door bins, you've got 2 cup holders on each side and additional cup holders here for your rear seat passengers. You also have climate control here, 2 USB ports, additional storage right here with the rear seat pockets. And if you need more cup holders, there's 2 more right there. Guess you have thirsty passengers, you're going to be able to take care of them very well. Now, how about getting in and out of the rear seats? Well, you'll find that there is a button on the side here that you can push, and that will allow you to move these forward. Also a button on the rear of the seats for the rear seat passengers themselves. If they happen to have whoever's in the middle seat jump out and they didn't remember to move the seat forward, well, they can do that as well for themselves. So that makes it very easy. You'll also find a stowing area right here for the seat belt for the middle seat passenger. There's one here on the left-hand side on the middle row seats, and on the rear on the right-hand side, a nice little area where you can stow that up there in the top so that it's not flopping around and hitting people in the head or annoying people with interior noises. But you will find that there is a reasonable amount of space even for your rear seat passengers, and I tried to give you a good example of that. Even with these middle row seats moved forward a little bit, everybody is still going to be, well, pretty comfortable. Now, somebody who's maybe over 6 feet might not be as comfortable in those rear seats, but somebody who's, say, 5'10", my height, not going to be too terribly bad. I don't know that I could be comfortable back there for a super long period, such as on a long road trip, but ultimately it's not too bad. You will also find shades here for the middle, or the rear doors, I should say, as you can see right there on the driver and passenger side. If the tinted windows are not enough, that's another addition here that is very nice in the Pilot. Okay guys, as we hop into the front seat of the Pilot, you will find that there is a sunroof here. Now, you do have a nice armrests here for your driver and passenger. And of course, the technology here in the Pilot is nice and simple to use. I'm going to reset you in just a little while. We'll go over the infotainment screen just so you can see that in just a minute. Of course, you have the steering wheel mounted controls. You can turn your safety features on and off. Everything you would expect to be able to do here as far as what you can control, the information you can go through, and display changes you can make on the nice looking instrument cluster. I do like the fact that it has a nice amount of information there, but it's not overloaded or cluttered in its layout or design. And of course, you have a push button start here for the engine, so you don't need a key for that, just the remote in the vehicle to turn that on and off. Dual zone climate control, and like I said, you not only have the dual zone climate control, but you have climate control available back here for your rear seat passengers as well. So everyone's going to be nice and comfortable. You also have heated seats, something I don't even want to think about on this day as the temperature is nearing 100 degrees. I'm looking forward to doing our test drive so I can turn the air conditioner on and up a little bit beyond what it is right now, but I've got the fan speed down a little bit so that doesn't distract you from hearing what I'm saying here. You do have another USB port here. You have a couple of 12-volt power outlets in the vehicle as well. One here and another here in the console. You kind of have this sliding top to the console, and it has a reasonable amount of space in there. 2 more cup holders and the wireless charging and the push button shifter. And you have a couple of different driving modes. You can go into your standard driving mode, there's sport, and of course, again, something we're definitely not going to need to worry about today in Northwest Louisiana, that's snow mode. And behind that on the push button shifter, the auto stop start feature that you can turn on and or off depending on what your preference is. If you're not familiar with what that is, basically, when you come to a complete stop, the engine is going to shut off, and then when you push the accelerator again to take off from a complete stop at a red light, stop sign, whatever the case may be, the engine will restart and you can continue down the road. That is something that I like to turn off. Tell me in the comments if you actually use that and why. I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say about that. And of course, steering wheel mounted paddle shifters here, and that's for when you're driving in sport mode. If you want to shift the 9-speed automatic transmission manually, kind of got my words mixed up there. If you want to do that and you have that option there, I'll give that a test when we get out on the road and see how responsive those are. But depending on your situation, you can use those if you wish to. Okay guys, let's take a quick look at the infotainment screen here, and you can actually give yourself a couple of different views. If you want to use the all apps view right here and just scroll through everything, of course you can still click on everything and get to wherever it is you need to go. And of course settings right there, a lot of settings, notifications, sound display, camera, a lot of great and easy to use features. Hit the back button, you're going to go right back to where you were, or you can hit home and go back to the original screen where we were in the first place here. And everything you're used to seeing is going to be here. It's a very simple system to use, to operate, and to figure out if it's something you've never used before, if maybe you haven't had a new vehicle since Honda put these infotainment screens in. This is not something to be scared of by any means. And trip computer right there, I mean, just so much to take a look at. It is just so nice and so easy to use. Of course, you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can pair your phone basically if that's something you haven't used before. And all of the typical features that you would expect with the infotainment screen that definitely make your life a whole lot easier and make owning a vehicle like this a lot more fun and much more enjoyable. Okay guys, we're going to do a quick test drive here with the Pilot Special Edition, the 2021 model. And these are roads that I drive every day, so I'm very familiar with these roads, pretty much know where every little bump and everything is. And the ride quality here compared to what I'm used to, even though my vehicle that I currently have as a daily driver is not the most comfortable, the advantage to that is that I can tell you this is a very comfortable vehicle. The Pilot is just smooth as can be. As far as at the moment, you know, I'm cruising along at 48 miles an hour, about 50 miles an hour right now. The road noise seems to be minimal. That's always a good thing. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the same at higher speeds. We'll get out on a road here shortly where the speed limit is 65 miles an hour, and we'll find out what the difference is. But overall, let's see, acceleration, it does get a little loud with the engine there when you step on the pedal, but I'm going to tell you what, even though it doesn't feel like the Pilot is accelerating all that fast, I mean, it really just sounds like the engine is working really hard. I jumped up to almost 70 miles an hour right there. It was that easy. So the engine's definitely going to provide you more than enough power to get down the road, to drive around slower moving traffic if you need to, and whatever the case may be. And like I said earlier, if you do need to tow something, obviously, it's not a lot, but in this front-wheel drive version, 3,500 pounds. If you have the all-wheel drive version of the Pilot, 5,000 pounds. So not terribly bad, just kind of some light hauling, so to speak, but not too terribly bad. And I apologize if you hear anything sliding around in the back seat. I've got some pieces that are still the license plate bracket for the front end and some other stuff sitting in plastic bags back there that are sliding around. But as far as the general handling characteristics of the Pilot, it is very impressive. This is a very agile SUV. It's pretty nimble. It's going to be easy to park. It's easy to drive just in pretty much any driving condition here. It handles well, very minimal body roll, and of course I'm not going all that fast in what we've done so far. Now here we go, we're going to get on a road that is a little bit rough. Now it's almost unfair for me to be doing this because the tripod that the camera is on picks up a lot of vibrations, but I can tell you right now, again, this is a road I travel back and forth to my home with on a regular basis. It's pretty rough. The difference is phenomenal as far as the ride quality goes. So you might just have to go to your local Honda dealership, whether it's Holmes Honda here in Shreveport, Louisiana, or where you may live, and test drive one of these Pilots yourself. But I'm going to tell you what, this is a very enjoyable ride quality that I am experiencing right now. Now I'm going to drop down into sport mode and we'll see what happens. You know, for an SUV of this type, a lot of the other vehicles, even some of the high performance vehicles that I've driven in the past, I must say the shifter paddles on the steering wheel are very responsive. In fact, I believe Honda has made some improvements in that area. The very first Honda Pilot that I did on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, that was a 2019 model. And I must say that the shifter paddles were not very quick to respond in the 2019 model, but this 2021, I'm noticing a dramatic improvement. So if you're going to use the shifter paddles for whatever the reason may be, and you've maybe had a Pilot from a few years ago, an older version, 2020, 2019, whatever the model may be, there is definitely a difference in the responsiveness of the shifter paddles. So I must give Honda a definite A+ for improvement in that area. Now we're on to smoother pavement here, so you're going to definitely notice a difference. But overall, the driving experience, the comfort, the ride quality, everything that you're going to expect as far as a positive goes with Honda, it's definitely going to continue with the 2021 model year, and especially with this special edition model that we've taken a look at today. Now, a couple of quick little notes of interest. This Pilot does come with adaptive cruise control, but it's not going to function under 20 miles an hour. Not necessarily a big deal, but just a point of interest to consider. And another thing that I will point out here, a lot of vehicles that I've test driven in the past on Vehicle Visionary, you either have a brake pedal that's too soft or maybe a little bit too tight, too responsive, and if you're not used to it, you can easily brake check your passengers. The brake pedal on this particular model seems to be a nice combination. When you push down on it, it's not super soft and it's definitely not overly responsive, and you can feel that the brakes are definitely doing their job. So a nice balance there. Now, one thing I like to do, just because we're test driving a vehicle here, and you need to know what you're going to get if this is a vehicle you plan to purchase. And this is my favorite place in the area to go and test drive how a vehicle handles in the corners. And even though I'm not going way over the speed limit or anything like that, I'm cruising along at a decent amount of speed on this road. And if you watch me regularly, you know this is where I like to test the cornering ability and maneuverability of a vehicle. Now, that corner we just went through back there, not a real sharp corner. When we're coming up on here, and we're going to go through in just a second, a little bit more. And I'm not necessarily going to go through at a super high rate of speed, but I am very interested to see what kind of handling characteristics we get out of the Pilot here. And I know you're just going to have to take my word for it here, but I'm cruising along here at a pretty reasonable rate of speed here. You can hear everything sliding around. But I'm going to tell you what, at about 70 miles an hour right there, that's actually very impressive for handling characteristics for any SUV. The Honda Pilot definitely is a vehicle worth considering if you're looking for something that has a reasonable amount of horsepower. It's going to be reliable, it's comfortable, plenty of storage space, and the interior is nice and easy to navigate. It's comfortable, it has nice materials, and of course, as you saw earlier, the infotainment screen is not difficult to navigate your way around by any means. If you plan to purchase a 2021 Honda Pilot, tell me in the comments, which trim level do you plan to purchase? Is it going to be this special edition or any of the other number of trim levels available? Tell me about it. Tell me about your current experiences with your Pilot if you own one. What do you like? Maybe even what do you not like? I'm curious to know. I appreciate my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this special edition Pilot for the day, and of course all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch. I look forward to seeing you in the next video here on Vehicle Visionary.